Greetings and welcome back, everyone. If you like these daily crypto analysis videos, hit the like button and subscribe. Please share these videos with your friends to help the channel grow. I'm CryptoSnake, back again to discuss some Bitcoin analysis. So Bitcoin has been stuck in this absolutely awful side trending range for the past week and a half, with relatively no movement, moving from around the 63.70 up to the 64.63, just ranging in here since we had this gigantic pump. And I've been waiting for Bitcoin to actually make some decent moves here and give a general direction of where we think we're going. And I think today we actually have a good direction of which way we are headed with Bitcoin. So before, I did see a pump on the daily Kijun Sim, which suggested that the price would likely come up, which it did trend up slightly. I did state in the previous video that I did believe that this daily Kijun Sim increase was possibly caused from this pump, just throwing a monkey wrench into the technical indicators. However, it does appear to have equalized now, and after plateauing for some support with the price not rebounding up, we actually have broken down. So the daily Kijun Sim has come down to the price, which may form a potentially bearish TK crossover here, which would very likely break the price back down to the lower pennant target of the 6200 level, very likely wicking down to the 6150 or so. And if we're feeling extra doom and gloom, we may actually see a price wick down to the 6050 level, maybe a little bit higher. The previous dump, which had massive volume behind it, did wick us down to the previous long-term trend line at around 6030 or so. I don't think we're going to see a wick down that hard because we have a lot of built-up support at the 6170 level, but wicking through this pennant is definitely in the cards and would not offset the overall market cycle. Quite a few videos back, I did lay out that Bitcoin was very likely to continue side trending before hitting the upper pennant target and breaking back down. And that appears to be what it has done. I'm still expecting a massive breakdown here. It's going to be very fast, very brutal to complete this potential Bart Simpson formation. It has extended a lot longer than I previously expected it to, and we ended up hitting the second upper pennant target rather than the first. But this daily Kijun Sim descending with this sort of magnitude in the downward direction has definitely reinforced my belief that we are going down to the 6200 level. And if we take a look back at the Chiku span, the Chiku span has finally broken the price, which we've been stuck in for the past 3 or so days, indicating it is now in bearish territory with a potentially bearish TK crossover underneath the cloud. So these indicators are moving bearish. On the SAR, which is the stop and reverse indicator, we are still moving bullish. However, the SAR support is all the way down at the pennant trend line. So we are very likely to break down, come down and test the lower pennant target here, find some support on the SAR, possibly wick through there, and then hopefully rebound and come to the exit of this pennant, breaking out into the bull run for the rest of the year. And looking down at the RSI, you can see that we've been kind of stuck within this range between the 46 to 49 level on the RSI. Did say we were very likely to come to a test on this pennant. We may end up just side trending to this resistance pennant on the RSI. On the 3 previous pumps, we broke down on the RSI level around the same area, so I'm expecting another breakdown here to complete this cycle. And we've been riding on this support on the 46 RSI now for the third test of it, which we will come down here probably on the next daily candle and very likely smash through. Now if we go down to the 4-hour chart where the price has been side trending, you see that the Chiku span is still within the price, suggesting a little bit more side trending, but the fact that the daily Kijun Sim has descended is very good news if you are shorting the market at the moment, because it does mean that Bitcoin is very likely to fall. And if you are even bullish on Bitcoin, it's actually good news regardless, because it means we will be coming to the end of this pennant and building up some pressure before breaking. We would very much like to see a test of this bottom pennant rather than a side trending through, because that's unlikely to produce a lot of FOMO pump out of that. So it's much better that we trend down to the bottom pennant as we break out of this, which will allow the price to coil up and coil up pressure as we build to the end of the pennant. Now on the 4-hour, the RSI is somewhere in the middle, where we've just been side trending through this range. We have had a bearish TK crossover with the Chiku span within price, which doesn't mean much. We are only a couple candles away from testing this upper pennant price on Coinbase's chart, so I may expect at least one more day of side trending before any massive movement. But we may very well see it before then as well, as the previous dump never actually tested the pennant position either before breaking back down around here. Now we did have a very small pump on Bitcoin, which broke us up through the 4-hour Kijun Sim up here. Now if we take a look at the Bitcoin shorts, this was actually a very small short squeeze that occurred. Now what's important to mention about these short squeezes is that we are heavily oversold on the 4-hour right now, indicating that the price is likely to dump as the shorts increase. Switching over to the Bitcoin longs, which is the measurement of people longing the market or betting that Bitcoin will go up, we are actually reaching up towards the upper 4-hour RSI, indicating that we may have another long squeeze, which would coincide with that pennant breakdown and drive the price down to 6200. So I will be keeping an eye on this, and I will give an alert out to my VIPs as soon as I see this potential long squeeze occurring. But before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis and take a look at some altcoins today, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakepit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptosnakeVIP to get regular updates. We've been pulling some savage gains in the VIP on leverage trades and altcoins this month. I've given out a list of potentially discount altcoins I plan to ride for the bull run to my VIPs once we break out of this pennant, which I think is coming very, very soon, as well as some hot altcoin swing positions every week. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. I was asked to cover some altcoins and do some technical analysis on them, so I'm going to do a bit of a lightning round here. First, we're starting out with Zilliqa, or ZIL, which pumped very, very well during the altcoin season. After having a savage pump in the altcoin season, ZIL has finally started to bottom out, reaching the bottom at around 428. I believe ZIL is actually currently in the accumulation zone, so this would be the perfect time to actually pick it up before the bull run. The cloud system is starting to plateau, and it is also starting to thin on the cloud, indicating a potential breakout is coming for ZIL very soon. Right now, it is currently side trending with the Chiku span within the price, and the Kijun-sen is now below the Tenkan-sen in bearish territory, but it is also starting to rise, indicating that the price may increase from here. Short term, I would expect a little bit more side trending, but long term, I'm very, very bullish on ZIL, and I could see a potential breakout from this cloud system moving in the next couple of days and maybe a week. Now on to our next altcoin, which is ZRX, or ZRX on Binance. If you don't know already, ZRX was listed on Coinbase, and exchange listings tend to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into the indicators. However, Coinbase is probably the holy grail of all exchange listings, which is why the price shot up around 30% or so. Now taking a look at the indicators right now, the daily Kijun-sen is still ascending, so we still have a little bit of room to grow. However, on the daily RSI, we did come up to test the top of the RSI, which was seen on this wick, before breaking down heavily, so there is a lot of resistance up there to break through. I think a bull run is very likely to take ZRX with it, but for the moment, as it is pumped, I do expect a bit of a pullback on ZRX, somewhere down around this range, around the 1200 level, before continuing up. It really depends. Coinbase as an exchange tends to attract a lot of the new people to crypto, and they purchase whatever's on Coinbase, and they don't ever venture off into the other exchanges. So it is very likely that it will grow in volume over the next coming months or so. So long-term investment, ZRX is always a good thing. We're not even close to the all-time high. In fact, we haven't even reached the peak of the previous pump, which is still about a 23% gains from there. And all the way back up to the peak is about 55%. So ZRX, long-term, I'm still very bullish on it. Short-term, somewhere in the middle, potentially bearish for a breakdown to get a better entry on. Now onto our next altcoin, EOS, which has also struck bottom around the 7200 level and built up a lot of heavy support there. It has been slowly trending upwards with some side trending movement as well. Especially this previous week, we've seen barely any movement on it, which is indicative to Bitcoin's price movements right now. Now, if Bitcoin goes for a bit of a dump, this may take this with it. EOS is a solid platform, solid coin. I do expect lots of good things out of EOS, and it is in a very similar situation to ZIL right now, where it is potentially coming to break through this very light daily cloud. The cloud system has started to plateau and posted a green Senku span above, which is good, and we are very likely to actually break out of this into a nice pump from this position. On the RSI, we are around the true price range, just like ZIL, so both coins are very likely to pump pretty heavily, especially if we break out into a bull run. Now on to our next altcoin, NEO, which also bottomed out around the 2400 level from the previous dump. It actually is at the bottom right now, and if we take a look at the daily, the Tenkan-sen is also starting to descend while the Kijun-sen is ascending, suggesting that we may have a bullish TK crossover forming on the daily. Right now, the stop and reverse indicator is moving in the bearish direction, but this may actually reverse and have a nice pump through this light cloud. The cloud is still slightly descending, so there's no guarantee that this will provide a very large pump. If we go down to the 4 hour though, we can take a little bit closer look at this. The Chiku span has broken the price upwards, and the price is actually ascending through the 4 hour cloud after traveling sideways through it. RSI still has plenty of room to grow. I would expect a pump on this somewhere around the 2700 level to the previous fractal. So short-term NEO is expecting a pump on the daily. Long-term, possible pump, maybe rejection off the cloud before a little bit of a dip, and then another attempt through for the bull run. Not nearly as bullish as ZIL or EOS, but still bullish nonetheless short-term. Now onto our final coin, Dogecoin. Can't believe I was actually asked to look at this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because woof. Dogecoin is currently down on the bottom of the RSI level. It does appear that it has hit the bottom of this RSI and is very likely to pump from this position. It is heavily separated from the now descending daily Kijinsen, which would be normally bearish. The price is very likely to increase up to the 72 level. But as this is also a very large pump and dump kind of meme coin, these technical indicators can't really be trusted very well. But the fact that we are so low on the RSI leaves it a lot of room to grow. However, it will see a lot of resistance up at the 72 level. So that's it for the altcoin lightning round. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall market cap, which is up at 209 billion. And altcoins have barely moved for the past 24 hours. A couple of them in the red, a couple of them in green, somewhere between the 1 to 2%. There's actually a news story even highlighting today's just sideways movements. Crypto markets see mixed signals, mostly trading sideways. Pretty much the entire market has been absolutely stagnant, which if you're trying to swing trade is not very lucrative. Shorting and longing, a little bit more lucrative, but not really worth the risk if you don't know which way it's going to go. As for the overall market cap, we're still stuck within this 53 to 54% range, and I don't expect a break from this until we start breaking out with some massive price movement in the upwards bullish direction. Once we start the bull market, this is very likely to start descending, and we will see a really nice altcoin season come out of that. Some interesting news stories today though. Elon Musk asked his followers whether they want to buy Bitcoin. Now, if you're a user of PayPal, this is actually very, very big news. There's a lot of money that actually goes through PayPal, and the ability to buy cryptocurrency with PayPal, especially because they have credit cards on PayPal, is very, very bullish for the space. And there was an amusing exchange between the Binance CEO and Elon Musk, where the Binance CEO basically promised to buy a Tesla if he accepts crypto. So hopefully we get some news from PayPal that it is actually accepting Bitcoin, because that would be super, super bullish for Bitcoin. Some other interesting news is that, sorry for the blown out picture here, HTC launches its blockchain focused phone, but you can only buy it in cryptocurrency. This is a very, very interesting news story. They're basically using the blockchain network to protect the phone to allow you to keep it as a wallet and also as a cell phone. Now, obviously, if you're prone to dropping your phone or losing your phone, it may not seem like a good idea to keep all of your money invested in a single device, but it is actually interesting to see HTC, one of the massive cell phone companies, to be coming out with a device specifically targeted for cryptocurrency. This phone currently comes in at around $960 in Bitcoin value, and it sets a precedent for the space that we are very likely to see a lot more of these products come out that are specifically blockchain or cryptocurrency focused. So just to recap really quick, I am still leaning towards us breaking down towards this bottom of pennant, 6,200 level, no change there. But I am no longer leaning temporarily bullish on us breaking up. So short term, I think we are going to break down. Medium term, I think we're going to break down. Long term, I think we are going to actually break up out of this pennant, which will look something very similar to this. We're going to smash down through here, either this candle or this candle, possibly even this candle, restricting into this pennant before smashing back up with a Bart Simpson candle, getting us out of this pennant as it squeezes, and quite possibly coming out into a nice little pump back to the trend line once we come down from this, which will very likely peak out on the daily RSI before breaking down, setting a higher low, and setting the precedent for the rest of the year, building higher highs, and very likely to see upwards of around 10K by January. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakepit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is Crypto Snake, signing off.